Hey, what's going on everyone? Today we have a huge video because we have the Inkborn Tales preview, which is going to be set 11 for TFT. It's going to feature a new set mechanic, all new champions of course, but the most surprising thing is two new champions that have never been seen in League of Legends or TFT. They're TFT exclusive. And of course, we're going to go over the items, trades, augments, all that good stuff. And this is going to be like a completely comprehensive video. We should not need multiple set 11 videos. So I'm going to cover literally everything that's available right now, or that's known right now. So if you want to skip through some things, you only want to see a couple of them and then look at the trades after that, I will be leaving timestamps in the description below. But let's start off with the set mechanic, which is encounters. So there are over 80 encounters, and they happen randomly 2 to 5 times per game. I like to think of them like mini augments. They give like small bonuses here and there. Some of them are temporary, some of them last a little longer. Essentially, like they just show up and they give you like a small little bonus. So we have Set here. He's going to give you 2 training dummies for 3 rounds, and they pop up like that. So that's pretty cool too. So starting at the top, we have Aatrox. So you have a choose an effect, gain a component anvil, 15 health, or 10 gold, whatever you like. Personally, I think 15 health is definitely worth 10 gold. It depends on what stage you get Aatrox. So if you get him at the start, maybe you want the gold. If you get him in the mid game, maybe you want the component anvil. If you get it late game, maybe you want the health, because different things are valued differently at different times, right? Already, all players gain health, and you also get to choose an effect. Units gain 150 health, units gain 18 AP or attack damage, so it depends on what your comp is. Balloon, choose a completed item. Champions on Carousel have bonus completed items, and also choose an effect. All of your 2-cost units gain health and attack speed, all your 3-cost units gain health and attack speed, and all your 4-cost units gain health and attack speed. It'd be a shame if you are doing 1-cost reroll. That would be a huge shame. Amumu, champions on Carousel are 2-star 3-cost. Wow, that is crazy. And then choose an effect, fight a challenging PvE round with powerful rewards, and your team gains +1 size. Okay, I wonder how difficult that fight is going to be. Annie, choose an effect. For 3 rounds, your shops are 1 level higher. For 3 rounds, double your interest. Maybe you could combine this with Hedge Fund or something like that, where you get 10 interest and then you get 20 gold per round. That's absolutely nuts. Aphelios gain 2 components anvils. Seems pretty consistent with before. By the way, they are not getting rid of portals. Portals are here to stay. And I actually like that a lot because I think portals are a pretty cool mechanic. But even though things might seem similar to a portal, it is going to be different. Ashe, see your next opponent. No surprises there. Azir, gain free rerolls, and the 3-2 and 4-2 augments move to random rounds. Bard, players start at level 3. That's going to be changing leveling up quite a bit. Leveling's pretty interesting because we come out with a leveling guide every single set, and we'll be coming out with one this set as well, along with all sorts of other guides. So again, if you are new at TFT, I do make like a ton of TFT content, focusing more on like getting better and things like that. So if you or a friend likes TFT educational content, this probably is going to be the place for you when this set comes out in 2 days. So Caitlyn, gain free rerolls this round only. Cho'Gath, choose an effect, champion duplicator or lesser duplicators, or lose a shop slot forever and gain 3 component anvils. That's absolutely hilarious. You probably want to take that if you already have your team start up and you don't care about looking for other things, and then you just take the 3 component anvil. Sure, why not? You could also just decline the offer. Darius, at the start of the round, champions in highlighted bench slots randomize, and then enemy champion deaths have a 30% chance to drop loot. Or you could choose an effect, 20 XP or 10 free rerolls, depends what strategy you're using. Also depends on what time the game is. For Diana, items on sold units break apart, so you get like a salvage bin for free. Items on sold units break apart. I'm guessing this one would last a bit longer. And lastly, you could also gain a treasure armory. Galio champions on Carousel have a bonus defensive component. Garen purchase units gain 100 permanent bonus health, and it lasts for like a certain amount of rounds. Nar, your next augment choice can be rerolled an additional time, or champions on Carousels are 2-star 2 costs. Gonna be pretty solid there. Quay, protect the dummy, and then champions on Carousels are 5-cost units, and your first shop slot this game offers units with traits on your board, so kind of like a tailored shop. Alawi can gain free rerolls this round only, or if the 3-2 augment moves to a random round. Aurelia champions can move freely on this carousel, and your shop always contains 1 unit of each cost. Oh, that's pretty interesting there. So doesn't matter what level you are for that. Janna, gain a treasure armory. Janna, gain 2 temporary Zephyrs, and then Janna, choose an effect, 2-star 1-cost unit, gain 2 random 2-cost champions, or a 3-cost unit. So you could choose either like more power for your board right now, maybe the most amount of gold, or maybe like YOLO, some like random trait that you need with like a 3-cost that you don't have yet. That'd be pretty cool in the early game. Jax, choose an effect, 5 gold, 3 rerolls, or 2 random 2-cost champions. or you could get an artifact armory or a support armory. I'm guessing they're going to balance artifacts and support items to be equal power to kind of justify that. Kaisa, choose an effect, gain 5 gold, or a golden item remover, or gain a magnetic remover with infinite uses. That would be pretty funny. Kane, gain a temporary death blade and death cap. The game ends now. That one's a bit wild. And then Kane, the game ends at 5-4. Your placement then is your final placement. This one seems a little wild. Like, holy cow. Imagine if you just lose streak and you're playing like the econ trait, which we'll get into later. It's going to be fortune, by the way. And then the game just ends and you're lowest health. You're just like, oh, dang. That'd actually be like one of the worst ways to lose. Holy cow. Kha'Zix gives you the next augment immediately. XP costs 1 less and it's set to a minimum of 1. And then XP costs 1 less this game for like permanent. Kindred, only even levels exist this game. XP values are adjusted. Oh man, that's going to make you play a lot differently. Gain 2 training dummies for a couple of rounds. Giant Slayer or Redemption. Red buff or blue buff. And then Kabuko, the more people dance, the more loot everyone gets. Hilarious. 2-1 augment moves to a random round. Gain a treasure armory from Lee Sin. Lilia, all augments this game move to random rounds. And then Lissandra, choose an effect, spend 12 gold for a component anvil, spend 25, gain an artifact anvil, or just do nothing. And you could also lack the gold to offer this spirit. Okay. Lissandra also has a trade X amount of gold for a random component, or you could decline the offer. Lux 4-2 augment moves to random round, gain 2 random temporary support items. Malphite, benching a unit causes its items to pop off. Wow, but it's only for a couple of rounds. Or it could be permanent depending on which one you get. Morgana, champions on Carousel are 4 costs. Choose an effect, upgrade the next 2 cost units you purchase, or gain 10 gold. Nautilus, choose 1, 50% chance for 1 gold on kill, or 50% chance for 1 gold on allied death. So I guess whether you're win streaking or lose streaking, that's going to decide your choice there. Nico, gain a temporary 3-star 1 cost. It does not contribute traits to your team, and it lasts for a couple of rounds. Nico, gain a temporary 5 cost. It does not contribute traits to your team. Champions on Carousel have a bonus champion duplicator, or champions on Carousel have a bonus lesser duplicator. Holy cow. Obviously very thematic with Nico because we used to call that little consumable Nico. Orin, choose an artifact, also thematic. Gain 6 artifact items for 1 round. Holy cow. If this happens in like the late game, that'd be so wild. Champions on Carousel have a bonus artifact. That's going to have like, wow, that's going to be a lot of items. Kiana, choose a Radiant item. Champions on Carousel have Radiant items. That's even more wilder than Ornn. Holy cow. Champions on Carousel have a bonus component for Riven. And then Senna, choose an effect. Set your current win streak to 6 or set your current lose streak to 6. You have to know what you are going to do the next round. Or you could just gain 3 gold if you're like feeling a little weak, you know? Not weak, but like indecisive. Everyone gets bigger for set, or you could gain 2 training dummies for a couple of rounds. And then champions on Carousel have support items. Choose an effect. Arcanists, Behemoths, Duelists, Invokers, Reapers, Brawlers, 2 costs. I guess that's a little preview for what we're going to see later for the traits. Sivir, everyone gets faster. Soraka, choose a support item. Or champions on Carousel have a bonus support item. Syndra, champions on Carousel are 2-star 4 costs. Holy cow. Wow, that's going to be defining some games. Like, okay, that's crazy. It could be good sometimes too. Like imagine you're like rolling down, you have 0 gold and you're like just looking for this one unit and then you see exactly what you want, 2-star on Carousel. That could be a good feeling. Syndra, 2-1 and 4-2 augments now move to random rounds. Tahm Kench, the more fish you catch, the more loot everyone gets. Tahm Kench, choose an effect, gain a component anvil or gain 10 gold. Chemo, you can reroll augments this game an additional time. Champions on Carousel have a bonus spatula. This first one's going to be hilarious. The data checkers are going to be like running out of time on their turn. That might be me. Could also not be. Teemo, choose an effect. I'll win, reward 14 gold. I'll lose, reward 7 gold. And then we have Thresh. Champions on Carousel have artifact items. The 2-1 and 3-2 augments are moved to random rounds. Tristana, gain bonus gold. Udyr for 5 gold. Udyr grants you 2 components based on the chosen spirit. Board, defense, bear attack, phoenix, magic. Or you lack the gold to offer the spirit. Choose an effect. Zeke's Herald, Locket of the Iron Stellari. And then Volibear, champions on Carousel are 3 costs. Wukong, some units sold are 2-star and gain bonus traits. You can only have 1 at a time. Gain 6 Radiant. Oh, wow. What was the other one we saw before? It was like gain 6 Ornn items or something like that, or artifact items. I don't remember where we saw it, but this is Radiant. That's crazy. Lastly, for Wukong, champions on Carousel have a bonus Radiant item. Xayah and Rakan, okay, 2 for 1. Choose an effect. Gain 10 gold or recombobulate your board and gain 2 magnetic removers. Is that how much recombobulate is worth? I did not know that. Probably take the 10 gold most of the I don't know. The next one is gain 5 gold or recombobulate your board and gain 2 magnetic removers as well. Probably depends on when you get it, which one shows up. Yasuo units in the back 3 rows start with 200 bonus health. Yone, you can reroll your next augment choice 2 additional. That's even crazier than the Teemo one. Okay, people are definitely gonna run out of time. Like, you need to know and have it memorized what the best augments are at each stage in the game, potentially. And then the other one is champions on carousel have bonus offensive component. Yorick, you can always field at least 7 units. This is extremely good for reroll comps. Rerolls cost 1 let. Okay, Yorick's just like the reroll god, I guess. Like, Zoe, only odd levels exist this game. XP values are adjusted. Gain 2 temporary trickster's glasses. Very thematic with her. And then Zyra, gain 3 copies of a component. So if you're going like all in on something, like that could be pretty cool too. But that is all 80 effects of the encounter. So let's go back to the other stuff. Next up, we have like a cool little trait thing. So there's a new trait called Exalted. Your team gains 5% bonus damage plus more based on your level. After combat, store 2 XP in a soul core, sell the core to claim the XP, and then you get 1% damage per level or 3% damage per level, depending on like 3 or 5 Exalted. And these champions change every game, and it could pretty much be anything. So every game is going to be a little bit different. You have to like see what the Exalteds are and then plan accordingly if you want to change up your strategy. Actually, pretty interesting concept that I didn't really like think about before. Next up, we have the new TFT exclusive champions Kabuko and Elune. So Elune is a sister of Aphelios, causes reduced magic resistance and magic damage to enemies, and increases the attack speed of allies. Kabuko is essentially like a tanky Yordle. When you gain interest, Kabuko, a Yordle, gain permanent health per gold collected. All right. Let's see how that actually works out. So game quality of life improvements. We have a shop update. You can get TFT cosmetics in the rotating shop. That one's actually a little weird. I know some people like having some of the older stuff that like maybe they didn't play when the game came out, but don't quote me on this. I don't know how this is exactly going to work, but there are some like exclusive things that they say will only show up now, and then after this they'll never show up. So it'd be weird if they show those, but from this wording it does look like they show them, but I don't know all the details on that. Team Planner UI is improved. I love the Team Planner. If you're not using the Team Planner in 2024, I don't know what you're doing. It is like the best way to improve your TFT gameplay because you don't get confused on your rolldowns anymore when you use it. Absolutely beautiful tool. Can't wait to use more of it. Changes and improvements favoriting tacticians, arena skins, and booms. I assume this is going to affect their randomizer because some people don't want to do like full random on their tacticians and arena skins. So if you choose like maybe 5 of them that you want to rotate between, that'd be completely awesome. I'm probably going to rotate between all the bunnies. And they also have new little legends: Morgana, Ari, Hundun, Dowsy, River Sprite, and Squink. I guess Hundun is the new like cutesy legend. You guys know I always like the cutesy legends, but I'm probably just gonna keep using the Bun Bun and the Dango. Those are always my 2 go-tos, but pretty cool stuff here. Chibi, Morgana, or Ari. I wonder why they didn't do Morgana and Kale. Kind of would be more thematic, but all good stuff. Is Morgana just gonna bind you and have everyone watch like a 15-minute cutscene? Because that would make sense for Morgana's cutscene. Origins. All right, now for like the beefier stuff. Dragon Lord. After 8 seconds of combat, the dragon strikes the board, dealing true damage to enemies and granting all allies attack speed for the rest of combat. So you get scaling health and attack speed as it goes up. And then at 4 Dragon Lord, you get a stun for 1.5 seconds. And this is actually a 2, 3, 4, 5 trait. I was surprised when I saw this, but then I noticed 2 legendary champions down here. So it's going to be hard to like go deep into this because you need legendaries, obviously. But Zion Rakan would be pretty nuts. Who else is here? By the way, look at these skins. Absolutely gorgeous. Lee Sin, Diana, and Janna. Dryad, rest in peace, Warcraft 3 Dryad builds. Dryads gain ability power and 100 health. Each enemy death grants additional health. And then we have a flat amount of AP, and then per death you get a bunch of HP. 246 trait. We have Rek'Sai, Gnar, Kindred, Ornn, and Azir. I love Azir personally. This reminds me of like the Elderwood stuff based on like how their skins look like. We have Faded next. Hover 1 Faded unit over another to form a pair and unlock a Faded bonus. Your pair gains 20% HP. Let me guess. Kindred's here, right? We have Ari, Yasuo, yep, Kindred, Aphelios, Thresh, Syndra, and Set. Wow, Ari is going to be a 1-cost. I don't think she's ever been a 1-cost in the history of TFT. But at 3 Faded, pairs get the Faded bonus. At 5, all of them get it, and 120% of the bonus. Wow, that changes quite a lot. And then at 7, we have all faded champions get 250%, and then at 10, you get 300%. This is like those chat GPT videos where you like ask it to make a cat and then try to make it get cuter every single time. Fortune is back. When you lose a fight, gain luck, lose luck when you win. I wish that's how life worked out. But roll a die. In that many player combats, hold a festival. At the festival, you have the option to convert your luck into rewards. So I would love Heartsteel from last set because it was so different from all the other econ traits in the past. Where in the past you would just lose, and then get one big win and then boom, you win the game, right? I mean, Heartsteel was similar to that, but there's more choices and like you can use it while you're winning as well. So I am a little disappointed that winning doesn't do anything, but we'll have to see how this plays out. At 3, the more fights in a row that you lose, the more luck you get. At 2, heal 2 player health at the start of each player combat. That's pretty OP. And then at 7, hold a festival every turn, gaining 200% luck, and gain it even if you win. So we have Kabuko for that. Oh, Kabuko's a 1 cost. Teemo, Tristana, Zoe, and Annie. You know, I thought Kabuko would be like a legendary because it's like a new thing. But we'll see what all their abilities do in the champion section. Ghostly, upon dealing damage or taking damage 7 times, ghostly units send 2 specters to haunt nearby enemies and deal % max health damage every 2 seconds. Kind of like a Morello type of stuff then. Haunted enemies take bonus damage for each specter on them and pass specters on death. So 6, 9, 15, 30% per specter. If Caitlyn, ooh, Caitlyn looks kind of evil. We have Aatrox. I thought this was Singe for a moment. Shen, Kane, and Morgana. All right, next one we have is Heavenly. Heavenly champions grant a unique stat bonus to your team, increased by their star level and each heavenly unit in play. So you can get ghosted by the heavenly person you meet on a dating app. All right, Kha'Zix 10% crit chance, Malphite armor and MR, Nico health, Kiana AD, Soraka AP, Wukong attack speed, Emblem, Omnivamp. 2 stars grant 50% more, 3 stars grant 90% more. This is very similar to a trait in the past. I forgot what it was. Oh, it was Guild. Guild was the trait. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's pretty much Guild. I think Guild was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we have Kha'Zix, Malphite, Nico, Kiana, Soraka, and Wukong. Ink Shadow is going to be the next one. Gain unique Ink Shadow items. Ink Shadow champions gain bonus damage and damage reduction. Which Ink Shadow items you get changes each game. Okay, so we have to adapt to that. It reminds me of Shimmer Scale. Like you get random items each time, right? But you also get like bonus damage reduction, which is kind of cool. We have Jax, Aatrox, Senna, Volibear, Kai'Sa, and Udyr. Next up, we have Mythic. Mythic champions gain health, ability power, and attack speed. After 4-player combats, they become epic, increasing the bonus by 50%. So we have scaling health in AS, and then at 10, instantly become epic. The bonus is increased by 200% instead. Oh man, the 10 traits seem really strong. Obviously, that's always going to be the case. We have Cho'Gath, Kog'Maw, Nico, Brad, Tahm Kench, Lilia, Nautilus, and Hui. Wait, is Tahm Kench Fortune? Tahm Kench is not Fortune. How is Tahm Kench not Fortune? I did not realize that. Okay, whatever. Porcelain is going to be the next one. After casting, Porcelain champions boil. Okay. I don't want to boil, but I guess we have to let it cook. Gaining attack speed and taking less damage for 3. Lux, Amumu, Ashe, and Lissandra. Storyweaver. Storyweavers summon a hero named Kale and evolve her. Storyweavers gain max health. So you're telling me that they have Kale in the set. They make a Morgana Chibi. And then there's this angel-looking thing on the right, and that's Ahri and not Kale. Come on. If it wasn't a small indie company making this game, I would expect better. I don't even know why I say stuff like that, because I just care about the gameplay. I don't really care that much about the little legends. It just seems a bit odd to me. Each Storyweaver star level increases Kale's health and ability power. Kale gets 10% attack speed for each game stage. So you can pick a supportive effect, pick a combative effect, pick another combat effect, and then ascend. Garen, Sivir, Riven, Zyra, Zoe, Galio, and Aurelia. Next up, we have Umbral. The moon illuminates hexes, shielding units placed in them at the start of combat. Umbral units in illuminated hexes execute low enemies. By the way, I don't know if I said this already, but all these numbers are highly subject to change. They make so many changes on the PvE. But if you join the Discord, bunnymuffins.lol/discord, I believe. Maybe that's the wrong link, but it's in the description below. We do have like a robot that updates every time a patch comes out, so if you want to be in the know, that's a good place to kind of go. At 9 Umbral, though, executed enemies have a 100% chance to drop loot. Okay, that is completely wild. We have Darius, Yorick, Alun, Yone, Silas, and Set. Man, Set looks so wild. I've not seen Set like this ever. Do they redo the art for TFT, or does this skin exist in League of Legends? I have no idea. Next up, we have class traits. We have Altruist. Don't forget to tip your landlords this month. Altruist heal the lowest health ally for 15% of the damage they deal. Your team gains armor and magic resistance. We have Riven, Soraka, and Rakan. Arcanist. This was one of my favorite traits from the past because I did well with it, but it's a bit different, I think. I don't know if anything's going to hit as hard as that one, but gain ability power and grant ability power to your allies. We have Ahri, Lux, Nico, Illaoi, Zoe, Syndra, and Lissandra. Maybe Nico's a tank. We have to wait to find out. Oh, Illaoi's probably the tank. Artist. The artist paints the champion you place in a special bench slot. Get 1-star copy of the champion placed there when the artist's work is complete. And then you could also see like the rounds to complete and stuff decreases with the artist star level. We have Hui there. Behemoth. Gain increased armor and magic resist whenever a behemoth dies. The nearest behemoth gains 50% more for 5 seconds. We have Cho'Gath. That's my League of Legends main right now. We have Malphite, Shen, Yorick, Thresh, Ornn. I hope I don't get demonetized for that. And then Udyr. Bruiser, your team gains 100 max health. Bruisers gain additional max health. And then we have Kabuko, of course. Rek'Sai, of course. Aatrox, surprise. Riven, Tahm Kench, Galio, and Sylas. Duelists gain attack speed on each attack, stacking up to 12 times. Let me guess, Yone's here? He has to be, right? Darius, Yasuo, Kiana, Tristana, Volibear, Lee Sin, and Irelia. I know, like, we're skipping ahead. Control F Yone, not a duelist. Incredible. All right, let's go back to duelist. We already went over Exalted. Great is going to be the next one. We have every 3 casts, Wukong grows his weapon, modifying his abilities. Invoker, every 3 seconds, your units gain mana. 5 mana to all, 15 to invokers, and then 15 mana to all, additional 15 to invokers. So very similar to what we had before. Kog'Maw, Janna, Elune, Annie, Lilia, and Azir. Lovers is going to be the next one. Change which lover takes the field, depending on whether they are placed in front or the back. When the fielded lover casts, the other provides a bonus effect. Front is going to be Trick Shot Xayah. Back is going to be Altruist Rakan. Next up, we have Reaper. So Reaper's abilities can critically strike, and they gain 20%, I assume, like critical strike. And then they could also bleed enemies for 60% true damage. We have Kha'Zix, Kindred, Yone, and Kayn. Just like all the sage advice you can find on bunnymuffins.lol when the set comes out. Allies in the front 2 rows gain Omnivamp. Allies in the back 2 rows gain ability power. Zyra, Diana, Morgana, and Wukong. Sniper. Snipers gain 1 attack range. Snipers deal more damage to targets further away. Caitlyn, Kog'Maw, Senna, Aphelios, and Ashe. One hilarious thing I've seen recently is this video of this old gamer, and he just like snipes people. I don't even know what game he's playing, but he gets really into it. It's really funny that this trait kind of reminded me of that for some reason. Next up, we have Spirit Walker, and a lot of Warcraft 3 references. Probably my favorite game of all time. The first time the Spirit Walker drops below 50% health, he unleashes the Rage Within, healing to full, and gaining increased move speed and changing his ability power from Ram Slam to Tiger Strikes. Ooh woo. We have Udyr for that. Trick Shot. Trick Shot's abilities ricochet. Each ricochet deals a percentage of the previous bounce's damage. The reduction also applies to Rakan's healing. Okay, pretty cool, pretty cool. We have not seen like a seemingly offensive ability be used for defense, so that's kind of nice. We have Sivir, Teemo, Bard, Kai'Sa, and Xayah. Wait, is Rakan supposed to be here or Xayah? I guess maybe if you put a Trick Shot emblem on Rakan, that's what they're talking about. Wardens gain damage reduction. For the first 10 seconds of combat, they gain an additional 12% damage reduction. Just a generic tank trait. I like how they don't do like, this guy gains armor or this guy gains magic resist. This is just, you just get damage reduction. Pretty cool stuff. So you probably want to build health on them. Not so much of like stacking resistances, I would assume. But we have Garen, Jax, Gnar, Amumu, Illaoi, Nautilus, and Set. Another Warcraft 3 reference though, for those who know. And then now let's get into the champions finally. So let's start off with the 1 cost. Nami. Well, this is not Nami. Okay, whenever I see like whatever this aesthetic is looking person and it's 1 cost, I think Nami. But Nami's a more expensive unit this set, I think, right? But we have Ahri. Ahri's always been like a 4 or 5 cost. So debut at 1 cost. Deal magic damage to the current target and magic damage to adjacent enemies. Faded, gain 25 AP. Ace in the hole on Caitlyn, Ghostly Sniper. Fire a bullet towards the furthest enemy, dealing physical damage to the first enemy hit, so that's a reprint. Cho'Gath, Eruption, gonna be a mythic behemoth, makes sense. Gain shield for 4 seconds and breathe a cone of fire, dealing magic damage. Burning and wounding enemies hit for 9 seconds. And then I would not want to be hit by that. We have Darius, an Umbral Duelist, decimating people. Deal magic damage to adjacent enemies for the next 4 seconds. Attacks deal bonus magic damage. Since he was red, I thought this was Darius, but it's Garen. Courage. Gain a shield for 5 seconds. Garen's next ability deals additional damage. Jax, Counter-Strike, Ink Shadow Warden. Gain 60 armor MR for the next 2 seconds. Afterwards, deal magic damage to adjacent enemies. The current target takes magic damage and is stunned for 1.5 seconds. Oh, they're 2 1-cost wardens. I always think whenever there's a tank trait with multiple 1-cost units that it's going to be re-rollable, but that's never really been true in a lot of TFT sets. Maybe this one's different. Like, you know how this time's always different. Kha'Zix's Heavenly Reaper. Leap towards the lowest health enemy within 3 hexes and deal physical damage. Kabuko Fortune Bruiser. Monkey Dance. Oh wait, no, Money... I thought this was my bad. Money Dance. When you gain interest, gain 15 permanent health per gold collected. So you could like play Kabuko. Maybe there's a reroll Kabuko build. You just leave Kabuko out there forever and then you gain like crap tons of health. Active heal health over 2 seconds. Next attack deals bonus magic damage. Next up, we have Kog'Maw, Raining Artillery. Deal magic damage to the lowest health enemy within range. Every 2 casts, gain 1 attack range. That's an interesting thing. That's cool. Mythic Invoker Sniper. Oh, gonna complement a lot with the Sniper trait. Malphite, Heavenly Behemoth, Topaz Skin. For 8 seconds, gain armor and attacks deal magic damage to enemies in a cone. Rek'Sai, Dryad Bruiser. Uproot, gain 50 armor and magic resistance for 5 seconds, stun nearby enemies for 1 second and deal magic damage. Severe, Storyweaver, and Trickshot. On the hunt, gain attack damage and grant attack speed to self and adjacent allies for 5 seconds. Ooh, adjacent. So I guess you need to like play a backline that like doesn't move. Maybe you put her in the middle or something like that so that she gives the buff to other people. Yasuo is next. Fated Duelist, Steel Tempest. Passive, attacks while shielded, deal bonus magic damage. Active, gain shield for 5 seconds and deal magic damage to current target. Fated bonus, gain 400 shield at the start of combat. Alright, now onto 2 costs. 2 costs are generally the ones where like some of them are re-rollable, but these are kind of like gonna define your mid game. Like 2-star 2 costs are gonna be so key to a lot of stage 3 boards. That's where they kind of like spike in my opinion. Ghostly, Ink Shadow Bruiser for Aatrox, Phantom Blade, 20% shred on the current target for 4 seconds and deal magic damage to them. Heal health. And also shred magic resistance. Boulder Toss for Gnar, who's a Dryad Warden. Gain attack damage upon attacking or getting hit up to 50 times. Fling a boulder at the current target, dealing physical damage to targets in a line. What if after getting hit 50 times, he transformed into Mega Gnar? That'd be kind of cool, right? I guess we already saw in the Mega Gnar last set, they probably wanted to do something different, but maybe the next time they bring back Gnar and they have his transform ability, maybe that's a cooler way to go about it rather than like getting a certain amount of mana. Heavenly Winds for Janna. Dragon Lord and Invoker. I want Heavenly what? Okay, grant shield to Janna and lowest health ally for 4 seconds, then deal magic damage to the 2 nearest enemies. Flourish of arrows from Kindred, Dryad, Fated, and Reaper. Dash away from current target and deal magic damage to them, and magic damage to the nearest enemy. Fated bonus, gain 20% attack speed. I missed the 3-cost Kindred. Those are cool stuff, but that was a cool unit. Hopefully we get it back, maybe a different set. Wait, can this person get like 4 traits if they're Exalted as well? That'd be absolutely wild. Oh my god, they added Bunny. I'm Lux reroll every single game. Porcelain and Arcanist. Bunny Binding. Throw a Spear of Bunny towards the furthest enemy, dealing magic damage to enemies along the way. Reduce 30% each time it hits an enemy. The first 2 enemies hit are stunned for 1.5 seconds. Okay, bunnies are back in TFT now. Nico, Pop Blossom, Heavenly, Mythic, Arcanist. Ooh, Arcanist reroll definitely gonna be a thing. We have 2 different things here, right? Hop in the air, reducing damage taken and healing health over 2 seconds. After, slam down and deal magic damage to adjacent enemies. So we have like 2 Arcanist units. One's a tank, one's a DPS. That's perfect. Wow. Kiana, Heavenly Duelist. Supreme Display of Talent. For 4 seconds, attacks deal bonus physical damage to the target and physical damage to enemies behind them. Kiana will do a dash to find the best angle. So if you like this ability, but you also want to see Supreme Displays of Talents, I will be streaming PBE most likely on twitch.tv/bunnymuffinslol if you are interested in that. Riven's going to be a Story Weaver, Altruist, and Bruiser. Broken Wings. Deal physical damage to the current target, and every 3rd cast also deal physical damage to adjacent enemies and heal for a certain amount of health. Senna is going to be an Ink Shadow Sniper. Absolution. Fire a laser 2 hexes beyond the current target, dealing physical damage to enemies hit. Grant attack damage to Senna and allies to the left and right for 4 seconds. Again, you probably don't want your units to move around too much then. Shen, Spirit's Refuge. For 4 seconds, reduce damage taken for Shen and for adjacent allies. Shen's next 3 attacks deal bonus true damage. Man, I really care about damage on my tanks, am I right? Teemo, Fortune, Trick Shot, Dim Sum Delivery. I haven't had Dim Sum in a while, but throw Spoiled... Oh, come on. Can't do that. You can't serve that. Throw Spoiled Dumplings at the nearest non-poison enemy, poisoning them for magic damage over 10 seconds. And then we have Yorick, Umbral Behemoth, Dark Despoil, sap power from the 2 nearest enemies, gaining max health and dealing magic damage to them over 3 seconds. Lastly, for 2 costs, we have Zyra, Storyweaver, and Sage, Paper Thorns. Ouch. Summon 2 Vine Lashers that attack the nearest enemy 3 times. Their attacks deal magic damage and wounds their target for 6 seconds. And then next up, we have the 3-cost champions. Generally, these are going to be pretty re-rollable, but they're also pretty solid in the late game if you really need to add in someone with a very specific trait. Think like Echo from last set, pretty versatile unit because of the traits he has, but also like there are tons of reroll options at 3 costs that could like easily win the game single-handedly. But let's start off with Elune, which is going to be an Umbral Invoker, again TFT exclusive. Lunar Barrage, rain meteors through the row with the most total enemy health. Meteors deal magic damage split between all enemies hit. Deal magic damage to the current target. All enemies hit are 20% shredded for 6 seconds, and you also grant 40% attack speed split amongst allies in Elune's row for 5 seconds. And I have no idea what I just read. You rain meteors through the row with the most total enemies. And then the meteor deals magic damage split amongst them and shreds them. Okay, so kind of like a supportish unit. If you need shred, going to be the option for you. Amumu Porcelain Warden, Herbal Tears. Over the next 3 seconds, heal and cry on adjacent units. Tears heal allies for health and deal magic damage to enemies. Aphelios Faded Sniper, 20% Sunder, so it's pretty much Elune but for sundering. And then you also deal physical damage to them. Faded gain 25% AD. Bard Meep Meep for the next 6 seconds. Attacks instead throw 2 Meeps, each dealing physical damage and magic damage. Diana, Dragonlord, and Sage Purification Rites. Heal and create a 1-hex sacred zone around Diana for 4 seconds, taking 20% reduced damage from enemies outside the zone. While the zone is up, Diana's attacks deal bonus magic damage. Allow, Prophet of Spirits, Ghostly, Arcanist, and Warden for Alawi. Gain shield and summon a tentacle near the current target for 4 seconds. The tentacles slam every second, dealing magic damage in a line, healing Alawi for health. Soraka, Heavenly Altruist. Oh, pretty good combo there. Very righteous, you know. Divine Judgment. Each time your team loses 20% of their total health, gain 10 AP for the rest of combat. Oh, so put her in the back. She scales. Maybe she one-taps everyone at the end. Active is Mana Reave, the largest group of enemies within range. Deal magic damage to the center enemy and magic damage to adjacent enemies. And then next up, we have Tom Kench, Mythic Bruiser, Tongue Lash. Gain shield for 6 seconds and deal magic damage to the current target. If Tom Kench has more health than them, deal magic damage instead. Otherwise, gain more shield. Thresh is going to be the next one. Guided Passage, Faded Behemoth there. And then grant a shield to Thresh and the lowest health ally for 4 seconds and deal magic damage to enemies adjacent to both. Thresh shares a percent of his armor and MR with shielded ally for 6 seconds. So great for like single carry comps, I would assume, where you really need to protect someone. Maybe someone up in the front, you know, like melee carry. They get low, you shield them, boom, kaboom, and then you're good. Faded, gain bonus 20 MR and magic resist. Tristana, Fortune Duelist, Firecracker Frenzy. Gain attack damage for 6 seconds, jump on the lowest health enemy within range, and deal physical damage to adjacent enemies before bouncing to a safe location. Firecrackers are crazy. And my dad was telling me stories how like he was like 9 years old playing with firecrackers or something like that. And like my uncle's friend lost his fingers. I don't know how this does not happen more often if people are actually playing with firecrackers as kids. It seems fun though. Like I wasn't allowed to do it obviously, but yeah. Volibear, Ink Shadow Duelist, Ink Smash. Empower the next 3 attacks. The first 2 heal for health and deal bonus magic damage. The final attack deals magic damage and stuns the target for 1 second. Next up, we have Yoner's Umbral Reaper. Dash in spirit form to the furthest enemy within 3 hexes for 3 seconds, dealing physical damage and wounding enemies along the way for 5 seconds. And then, while in spirit form, grant shield and 80% attack speed. Afterwards, Yone returns to his starting position. And then each cast this combat increases his dash range by 1 hex. Zoe, Fortune, Storyweaver, Arcanist, calculated, just like how I calculate interest every turn before I sell my entire board and then have 9 gold at the end. Passive, kills increase the number of ricochets by 1 for the rest of combat. Oh, that seems awesome. Active, fire a magic missile, dealing magic damage to the current target. The missile ricochets to the furthest unit within 2 hexes, dealing magic damage. I wonder if you make her a ricochet unit, or a trickshot, what is it called? That'd be even wilder. 4-cost units. Okay, now for like the heart of your team most of the time. 4-cost units, this is where dreams are made, you know. Your main carries are generally going to be 4-cost. Oh, they brought back Annie, hell yeah. At 4 costs. I mean, yeah, summon Tibbers, that was awesome. Passive, heal health when damaging a burning enemy. Active, on first cast, hop on tip. Oh my gosh, he's gonna hop on. That's gonna be too cool. You gain health, stun enemies within 2 hexes, and then like deal magic damage, burn them, wound them, whatever. Okay, pretty nice. Fortune Invoker. So you could probably do some sort of like 6 Invoker build, get like tons of Annies or something like, or not tons of Annies, tons of Tibbers. And next up we have Ash, Porcelain Sniper. Passive, start with 15 arrows, gain every 3 attacks. Active, fire a volley split between the current target and the 3 closest enemies within range, dealing physical damage per arrow for a total of like some amount of physical damage. Next up, we have Galio, Storyweaver, Bruiser, Savior's Protection. Taunt enemies within 3 hexes and gain armor and magic resist for 4 seconds. Galio is immobile and unstoppable during this time. After dealing magic damage to all enemies in range, grant a shield to allies in range for 4 seconds. Alright, next up we have Inkstorm from Kaisa. Fire 20 waves at the current target for over 2 seconds, each dealing physical damage to the first enemy hit. If an enemy is hit by 10 waves, they take damage per wave instead. I'm guessing it's going to be a reduced amount above 10. Next up we have is Kane, Shadow Assassin, Ghostly Reaper. On first cast, transform, dealing physical damage to enemies, and then while transformed, gain 30% crit and damage. If the spin only hits 1 enemy, the damage is increased by 50%. Subsequent casts deal physical damage to a unit in a line through the target instead. Next up we have Lee Sin, Dragon Lord, and Duelist. We have Dragon's Dance as well. Kick the target's spirit out of their body, dealing physical damage, 30% mana reaving them and stunning them, and enemies hit by the spirit take physical damage, and you also gain a shield. Wow, that does like 50 things. Holy cow. Is he a tank? Is he a duelist? Who knows? Next up we have Lilia, Mythic Invoker. Eep, like what is it called? An Ick or something like that? She has Eeps. Hurl an orb towards the current target, dealing magic damage to the first enemy hit and also adjacent enemies. It continues rolling as a smaller orb, dealing magic damage to enemies hit, and then every 3rd cast launches a mega orb at her target that deals magic damage and splits into 3 smaller orbs that roll towards the furthest enemies. The furthest or farthest? I never know which one. Morgana, Ghastly, and Sage, or not, well, Ghostly and Sage, my bad. The Tempest Torment. Create an expanding blizzard at the large clump of enemies within range that deals magic damage over 3 seconds and chills for 1 second. So they made the evil champion Morgana, and there's a blizzard there. What does Riot Games mean by that? Nautilus, Mythic Warden, Depth Charge. Send 3 shockwaves towards the most enemies in a line, dealing magic damage and stunning all enemies hit. Ornn, Forge of the Forest, gain a shield for 4 seconds, channel and forge upstoppingly or unstoppingly. Okay, the typos here are insane, but over 2 seconds, dealing magic damage to adjacent enemies over the duration. Afterwards, toss an ephemeral completed item to the nearest ally. By the way, the only reason I know what the word ephemeral means is because of an item in World of Warcraft. And then I'm pretty sure this was also an SAT word, which I was taking at the time when I was playing World of Warcraft. Absolutely hilarious. So whenever your parents tell you video games don't help you in anything, tell them that example, you know? Silas, Umbral, Bruiser, I'm kidding of course. Unchain the Demon, dash around the target and slam, dealing magic damage and healing for health. Swipe after, right, let me check my Tinder, and then deal magic damage to nearby enemies. Syndra, Faded Arcanist. Okay, is this the Arcanist carry? I don't believe we saw a different Arcanist. I thought Annie was an Arcanist, but she is not. Phantom Butterflies. Passive, start combat with 7 butterflies and gain 1 every 2 casts or on allied death. Active is throw all butterflies at current target, dealing magic damage for each butterfly, and then Faded, deal bonus 12%. Now we finally have 5-cost champions. Wow, they even include a preview here. That's kind of cool. Let's watch Hway's. I'm gonna mute it though, because my volume's a little loud. All right, cast your thing. Boom. Wow, awesome. All right, so let's start with reading Hway first so we know what we just saw. Mystic and Artist, a brush with fate. Create an expanding paint pool around the most units that heal allies within for health every 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, it explodes, healing allies within for health and dealing magic damage to enemies. Oh, no wonder why I like shot towards a training dummy. I was kind of confused by that. Next up, we have Zaya and Rakan. Let's read the ability first, actually. Change which lever takes the field depending on whether they are placed in the front or 2 back rows. Zaya fires feathers at the nearest enemy, dealing physical damage. Rakan dashes towards the largest clump of units, deals magic damage and debuffs them, and gains a shield for each enemy hit. Oh, they're one thing. I did not realize that. Feathers fly. All right. And Grand Entrance, which like dashes into a group of enemies, dealing magic damage to them within a 2 hex range, and you also gain a shield for enemies hit. Now let's take a look at this one. All right, so we see who is it, Zaya right now. All right, go crazy. About to cast. Boom! Wow, awesome. Okay. We have Azir next. Dryad and Invoker. Fire a beam through the current target, dealing magic damage to enemies hit. Spawn a Guardian adjacent to the first enemy hit with some health. The Guardian does not attack or move. Next up, we have Aurelia Blade Dance. Attacks send blades that dart between enemies, dealing physical damage and 30% sunder for 5 seconds. Cast every 8 attacks. By the way, Aurelia is wild. Active, command the blades to swiftly strike the 3 lowest health enemies, dealing attack damage and applying on-hit effects and physical damage. And then she also converts 25% of bonus attack speed into faster blade movement and 50% into attack damage. Right? I promise you, not clickbait, her ability is wild. Oh, bam. Right, so she's about to do it, and it dances everywhere. Not seen an ability like that. Imagine if this was in League. That'd be cool. Oh, and then like the enhanced thing. All right. Normally I wouldn't let the full video play out, but that was cool. All right. Next up we have is Lissandra, Porcelain and Arcanist. Oh my God. Isn't Lux also Porcelain Arcanist? So there's a okay, so yeah. Porcelain Arcanist, reroll every single game. All right, let's do this. Steep the current target in a teapot. Wait, what? Let him brew. You have to unironically let it brew. Stunning and dealing magic damage over a few seconds. If they die, Lissandra turns them into a loot orb. Otherwise, Lissandra throws the teapot at the largest group of enemies, dealing magic damage to all enemies hit. Rewards are double in hyper roll, and if the target is the last enemy remaining, kill them instantly. Oh, it's like the Teemo interaction from a while back. Pretty cool. Set, Light and Shadow. He's also Faded, Umbral, and Warden. Passive, at the start of combat, squat adjacent units in the same row. Was squatting them. Permanently gain 1% attack damage for each 1,000 health squatted. Active, slam the current target forward, stunning them, and deal physical damage. Deal secondary damage plus a percent of the target's max health as physical damage to enemies within 2.5. And then Faded bonus, gain 15% Omni. Next up, we have Udyr, Ink Shadow, Behemoth, and Spirit Walker. Ram Slam or Tiger Strikes that we talked about before from the Spirit Walker trait. Ram Slam is gain shield for 3 seconds and charge through the current target, briefly knocking them up, and then grab the nearest enemy and slam them into the ground. So he slams people and knocks them up at the same time, dealing total magic damage to them and adjacent enemies. Tiger Strike, gain 80% attack speed and empower Udyr's attacks for the next 6 seconds to strike 4 additional times, dealing bonus magic damage as well. Next up, we have Wukong, who is Heavenly. Also pretty great and pretty sage too, I would say. Legendary Prowess, cycle through the following abilities. Throw Staff out, dealing physical damage to the current target and stunning them for 1.5. Spin, dealing physical damage to enemies within 1 hex range. Or dash to hit the most enemies in a 3 hex line, then slam down the staff, dealing physical damage to enemies hit. Wow, pretty cool cycling. All right. Next up, we have Augments. I'm assuming they're only showing like the new Augments. They're not going to show like any of the random regular ones. So let's get right into that. At this top, we have Accomplice. Get a support, Thieves Gloves, and 2 gold. Is that worth a Prismatic? I guess it gives 2 different support. Okay, yeah, that is worth a Prismatic. Altruist Crown, gain an emblem, Bloodthirster, and a ribbon. Arcanist Crown. Okay, so they're bringing hearts and crowns back. I thought they didn't like them. Obviously, last set had Chosen, so they removed them for sure. But I thought they were trying to move away from these. I could be wrong, though. Arcanist Crown, gain a Static Shiv and a Lux. At what cost? Immediately go to level 6. You don't get to choose your future augments. That one actually sounds pretty cool. I kind of want to do that. You just Giga Win Streak. It's probably like a top 4 augment. All right, Behemoth Crown, gain a Behemoth Emblem, Warmog's Armor, and Malphite. Build a Bud, gain a random 3-star 1-cost unit, 1 gold, and a completed item anvil. That could be cool. I've been playing this game called Battle Brothers, and a common term is like build a bro or whatever. This kind of reminded me of that. Call to Chaos, gain a powerful and random reward. Dragonlord Crown, gain a Dragonlord emblem, a Rageblade, and a Janna. Dryad Crown, emblem, Titan's Resolve, and a Gnar. Faded Crown, Faded emblem, Sunfire Cape, and a Kindred. Ghostly, Emblem, Bramble Vest, and a Shen. Heavenly, Hand of Justice, and a Nico makes sense. Ink Shadow Crown is Ink Shadow Emblem, and Even Shroud, and a Senna. Mythic, Guardbreaker, and a Nico. Porcelain, Adaptive Helm, and a Lux. Radiant, Refactor. Gain a Masterwork upgrade and 2 component anvils. Masterwork upgrade upgrades an item into a Radiant. Wait a minute, so you get to pick your own Radiant item and you get to replace... Oh, so it's like equivalent to the Radiant Relics, where you get the equivalent of a Radiant item. But this one you get to choose specifically. So this one's just like flat out better than the other one, in my opinion. I see no reason to pick the other one over this, unless your items are complete dog, you know? Reaper Crown, Hand of Justice, and a Kindred, Sage, Adaptive Helm and Zyra, Storyweaver, Stoneplate, and Riven. Trash to treasure. Whenever you use a Reforger, completed items are reforged into random artifacts instead. Is that worth it? So at most, the max value you could get is 3 items twice, because you have 2 Reforgers, assuming you have no other Reforgers. And if an artifact item is worth 1.5 regular items, that means you get the equivalent power of 3 items, which is technically what a prismatic is worth. It's normally around 2.5, maybe a little more than that. Maybe 2.75. Let's call it a 2.75. But the items are random, so I feel like this is worse. So you might want to only take this if you're about to pivot, or if you have like other Reforgers on your bench already, and then you could get even more value out of it. But I don't know. That seems really, really, really odd. I'd much rather have What the Forge, in my opinion. 2 for 1, gain a copy of the first champion you buy each round. Like maybe if they added gain like 1 component or something, or like 2 components, I don't know what it is, but this seems weak off first glance. But 2 for 1, gain a copy of the first champion you buy each round. Oh, that could be cool. Definitely good for like fast 8 or like fast 9, I'm assuming. It's also a decent econ trait too. Umbral Crown, gain an Umbral Emblem, a Redemption, and a Yorick. Warden Crown, gain a Redemption and a Nar, and then we have Ultros Crest, Riven, Arcanist. I'm going to skip all the crests. We have Boiling Point, Porcelain units, basic attacks restore 5 mana on hit, while boiling, basic attacks also burn and wound, gain a Lux. Call to Adventure, every 2 takedowns, Storyweaver Kale permanently gains 1 AP and 10 health, gain a Garen and a Sivir. Divine rolls, at the start of every stage, including this one, gain 3 free rerolls, +1 for each of your heavenly champions. Okay, that's kind of cool. Dragon Lord, Dryad, Dynamic Duel, get a random 5-cost champion and a random champion that shares a trait with them, get 10 gold. Enter the dragon. After the dragon strikes, Dragon Lords deal 20% bonus true damage to gain a Janna. Epoch, now at the start of every stage, gain 10 XP and 3 rerolls for that round only. Ethereal Blades, gain a Shen. Your strongest Shen gains +3. Oh no, not this thing again. Is it? Are they trolling with this one? Remember how I made a joke about his true damage before? They're actually bringing this champion augment back. It could be cool, but like it was very oppressive before. Wow, but fun stuff nonetheless. If Faded Crest, gain a Faded Emblem and a Kindred. Ghostly Crest, gain a Ghostly Emblem and a Shen. Oh yeah, I said I'd skip the crest. It's going to be epic, just like this video is, because you've been watching so long, so you might as well like and subscribe if you have not already. And also put a comment below and share it with a friend too, why not? Maybe you even start a TFT blog and link my stuff as well. Every time a unique mythic champion becomes epic, gain 3 player health and 3 gold, gain a Cho'Gath and a Kog'Maw. Lucky Paws, gain 2-star Kabuko. Your strongest Kabuko spell does 300% damage. If Kabuko kills an enemy, they have a 100% chance to drop one. Okay, that's wild. By the way, this sounds like a Pokemon or something like that, but I don't remember which one. Midnight Siphon, gain a Yorick. Your strongest Yorick spell does 80% more damage and hits 1 additional. Mind over Matter, get a training dummy and an Ari. Your training dummies have bonus health equal to 100. Oh my god, that is absolutely bonkers nuts. All right, Raining Gold, gain 10 gold now and 1 gold every round. Is that really good? It seems better than Rich Get Richer. Okay. Raining Gold plus, gain 20, 1 gold every round. All right. Reinforcements. The next 4 champions you buy is instantly upgraded to 2-star, get 4 gold. So if you want a top 4, I guess do that. Or if you're going for 3-star 4 cost and you have so many already, somehow when you pick the augment, I doubt you'll have that. I guess you could do that too. Scoreboard Scrapper. Every round, if you're in the bottom 4, your team permanently gains 1% AD and AP. If you're in the top 4, they have 10% more health. Maybe they're going to remove Last Stand in favor of this, but Last Stand's so fun. I hope they do not remove it. Slammin'. After each player's combat, they have no items on your bench other than consumables. Gain 3 XP. Okay. I like that. That's pretty cool. And then Slam and Plus, you gain 15 XP as well. Spirit Guardians, Wardens start of combat damage reduction is increased by 12. 20% of damage dealt to non-Wardens is instead distributed across your Wardens. Gain a Garen and a Jax. And then we have a bunch of crests. Next up, we have Silver Blood Bank. Do people actually go to those? I know it's important to, but one thing I've heard, in case you are a donor, don't donate when everyone else is donating. Donate when people are not donating, because that's apparently the most important time to do it. Don't ask me where I heard this, but that's just what I heard. Every 8 damage you deal to enemy tacticians, you gain 2 gold. Wow, finally some win streak augments. That's awesome. Everything must go. Your units buy and sell for 0 gold. You also gain 0 gold. Is that good? It has to be. I don't know. I don't know. Over encumbered, for the next stage, you only get 3 bench slots. After that, get 3 item components. I think that's very worth it. This is an insane lose streak augment. I like this a lot. Pick of the litter, open a special shop with 3 free 3-cost champions. You can only pick one, but you get 2 copies of it. All right, nice. Sharing is caring, very true. Share this video with a friend. Combat start, you gain 1 gold, and your opponent gains 1 gold. All right, I don't know about that. It has to be good because, like, it's funny. Normally, like, funny things or, like, seemingly bad things have to be, like, OP, because if not, people will never pick them. So maybe this is complete garbage or completely overpowered for all of the set. The Golden Remover, gain a Golden Remover and a component item anvil. What the heck is a Golden Remover? All right, and then we have some where, like, their tiers are not quite set yet. But boom, your champions deal 75% more damage for X amount of seconds on every other cast. Gain a Dragon Claw. Every time you heal 5,000 health with Dragon Claws, gain an item Holy cow, that's nuts. Drop Blossom, your strongest Nico spell, lasts 1 second longer, what my girlfriend said, and then heals 50% more and slams for 50% increased damage. Maybe she wants that too. On guard, your duelists start combat with 3 stacks. At max stacks, they gain 20% Omnivamp, gain a Darius and a Yasuo. Epoch Plus, now and at the start of every stage, gain 14 XP and 4 rerolls for that round only. Fine Vintage. Completed items on your bench for 2 rounds transform into support items. Grim Harvest. Your Reapers gain 7% crit and 3% Omni. They gain bonuses again every time they get a takedown. Oh my god. Haunted House. Enemies that die while haunted by Ghostly pass 1 extra Spectre to a nearby enemy. Long Shot. Snipers gain AS. Gain a Caitlyn and Cog. After snipers have attacked a total of 1,000 hexes, gain a sniper's... Whoa. Wow, that's a lot of hexes. How long does that take? I wonder. Lucky Ricochet Tricksters bounce 1 additional time for 50% of original damage. Mana Shield, when an Invoker cast, grant the lowest health ally shield equal to 300% of mana spent. Gain a Janna. Mulched. Every round, gain 2 Dryad stacks. If a Dryad kills an enemy, gain 1 additional. Gain a Rek'Sai and a Gnar. Passing the canvas. Open an Ink Shadow Tattoo Armory, gain a Jax and Aatrox. That's, if you don't remember, Ink Shadow, you get like the random item, or like Ink Shadow item. Pick of the Litter Plus, it's 3 free 4 copies. Oh my god, you only get to pick 1, but you get 2 copies of it. Prize Fighter, every 3 wins gives you an item component. Raid Boss, Combat Start, your strongest behemoth gains 25% health. When the behemoth dies, they transfer 25 of their armor and MR to it for the rest of combat. Gain a Cho'Gath and a Malphite. Story Champion, gain a 2-star Garen. Your strongest Garen spell does 40 increased damage and costs 20 less mana to cast. Road Less Traveled, each unique sage that starts combat in the middle 2 rows gains 2 XP, gain a Zyra. That's really interesting. That's going to open up a lot more options because no one really uses those middle roles that often. Tiny but deadly. Alright, I don't even need to make a joke there. Your units are 50% smaller but move and attack 30% faster. Too much candy. Your rerolls cost 0. Every 3 rerolls, the cost go up, oh no, by 1 gold. And at the start of each stage, your rerolls reset to... Why would... Is this... What? Is this even good? When would you even want... I guess if you know you're not going to roll for... I don't know. This seems awful. Maybe there's something... That's why it's in the TBD, you know? Venerable Piggy Bank. Your Exalted Soul Core gains gold instead of XP. If you lose combat, it gets 2 bonus gold. Gain 2 Exalted Champions. If there are no 1 or 2 cost Exalted Champions, get 1 3 cost instead. Alright. Well fed, Bruisers gain 1% of their max health every 1 second. Gain a Kabuko and a Rek'Sai. Wrath of the Moon, Umbral Champions deal 2% more damage every second they attack the same enemy. Resets when they swap targets. Gain a Darius and a Yorick. Alright. Pretty cool. Let's look at the Ink Shadow items. So the power of Art made manifest. Ink Shadow grants special items that grant unique bonuses. Which Ink Shadow items you get changes each game. Tattoo of Bombardment. Every third attack fires a bolt at the 2 lowest percent health enemies, which deals 100% attack damage as physical damage. Okay, so if you pair a Deathblade with that, that sounds pretty deadly, right? Tattoo of Force. Whenever the holder acquires a new target, they run quickly to and briefly stun them, dealing 300 magic damage and double the stats from this for 4 seconds. Tattoo of Protection. Gain 50% max health shield after casting the first time each combat. When it breaks, gain 50% of the shield amount to 2 nearest allies. So they have a AD one, they have a AP one, they have a tank one, and then they have like a flex damage one. Deal 35% bonus damage to targets below half health on takedown. Gain 40% attack speed for 6 seconds. And then we get to see the craftable emblems. So we have Ghostly, Porcelain, Storyweaver, Heavenly, Faded, Mythic, Dryad, and then Umbral Emblem. And that's going to be all she wrote. So lots of stuff going on. What am I most excited for? Well, obviously it's going to be the Lux reroll with Nico. Porcelain Bunnies again thrown everywhere. Cap off the late game with Lysandra, who shares the same traits. It's going to be absolutely wild. They added a lot of stuff this set. There are a lot of different abilities. Do I care about the encounters? It seems like mini augments, so it's going to make the game a lot different. Maybe. I kind of say this every set. Obviously, it's going to be different, right? But the next thing I'm most excited for is going to be the Exalted trait, because it's random champions every time. So like stuff you never knew synergize together, that can happen now. So in previous sets, let's say one random unit used a trait really well, like a trait emblem from like something else really well, but they don't share any traits between each other. You never play that unit in that comp. But now with Faded, you have to think about that beforehand, make the connection in game, and then you could do it. And then it's pretty much an Exodia comp, right? That could be absolutely wild. That's what I'm looking forward the most to from that trait. It's not any like weird combination. It's that in addition to getting an emblem that like is absolutely bonkers on certain champions. That would be really cool to see. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of flex play between that, so you could, again, use random champions that you never thought of before, or like random champion combos, I mean. That's probably going to be the coolest thing about this set, that and the bunnies. But lots of stuff we covered today. I'll be coming out with videos like when the set starts. It's going to release 2 weeks after March 5th. What day is that? Is that the 17th or something? No, that's the 19th. So it's going to release on the 19th. Let me know what parts about this preview that you thought were the most interesting. Maybe it's the encounters. Maybe it's like one of the random traits. Maybe it's even a reprint of a trait from before. Maybe it's a reprint of a champion, or maybe one of the new ones. Who knows? But I won't know unless you comment down below. So I'll see you all there, and I'll see you all in future videos as well.